share stand for
Plenary. Today's People's Plenary, as I kept saying, it has been hosted. We started this culture of People's Plenary in the flows of Madrid during the COP. But now this has now been institutionalized. And my name is Wanhani Sisingano from the Women in Gender constituency. People's Plenary with my colleague who will introduce himself.
Buenas tardes, compañeros, compañeras y compañeros del mundo. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jesus Vasquez. I'm the General Coordinator of Organización Boricua in the Caribbean region in Puerto Rico, also representing La Vía Campesina International, and in special representation of the People's Summit. We want I've been reminded that there's no translation from Spanish, so I'll be speaking on English. I come from Boriquen, Puerto Rico. For me, it's very meaningful to be here. We are a nation that has been in struggle against occupation, colonization, and struggling for national liberation for many years. So we stand here in solidarity with all the peoples of the world, especially those that have been suffering a lot, like our comrades from Palestine. And I want to briefly mention the People's Summit happened last week, and it's a process that comes together with this beautiful process that we've been building from the people's side inside the COP in a strategic and unifying way. The People's Summit had more than 20,000 people on plenaries that were agreeing on axes of convergence and doing a common analysis that goes beyond the COP, knowing that the peoples of the world are practicing the real solutions. And we did a march with more than 70,000 people during last week, and this process is autonomous to the COP30 states. Lastly, I want to start just mentioning that we're starting with a mystica. Within the organization and social movements of the world, we always start in a common grounding, in ceremony, in ritual. I would like to introduce Alberto Terena, Leopoldo Terena, and Yaya Machoa on behalf of the indigenous communities of the Amazon.
Curumim nasceu livre qual o sol vento, contemplando a sua nação urubá. Curumim hoje é triste por tudo que existe, onde era seu lugar. Restou afeto pão, Tupã vem libertar. Talvez um lindo amanhã, minha nação de Ororubá. Curumim ficou grande, se fez um guerreiro, onde as setas nem mesmo deixaram caçar. Curumim hoje é triste por tudo que existe, onde era seu lugar. Restou afeto pão, Tupã vem libertar. Talvez um lindo amanhã, tenha a nação de Ororubá. Urubá se traduz como casa da serra, do povo chucuru e dos parandiões. Mas os brancos senhores encheram de dores sua pátria Ororubá. Restou afeto pão, Tupã vem libertar. Talvez um lindo amanhã, minha nação de Ororubá.
So can you just like right there with the camera?
Thanks a lot for that beautiful Mystica, and thanks a lot to all the people that are resisting inside the COP30 space. We're going to start our solidarity session, introducing a few comrades that are coming from Congo, Sudan, and Palestine. So those of you that are coming from that place, Michael Mwanza, Tariq Mustafa, our comrades from Congo, please step up to the stage. We are starting with Sudan. Michael Mwanza, please come to the podium.
Hi everyone. My name is Hi everyone. My name is Roan from Sudan. Before I start with my speech, I want to share a small fact. In reality, this is not my first time to stand in this plenary. In COP28, I was here at the same stage, speaking about the same thing, about the war that happened in Sudan. But I'm here again, after 2 years and 7 months, repeating the same, that Sudan is being bleeding in silence, and no one cares about Sudan. When I was planning and drafting my speech, I was asking myself, where I should start? Should I start about the 12 million who have been displaced, including me and my family, or the 180 reality, she wasn't one. In Sudan, women's bodies are used as a weapon. There is more than 100 women being sexually harassed several times, not one or two or three, 10 times by different soldiers. Or I should speak about the children who have been outside the school being closed for 2 years. A kid who is 9 years old is not allowed to go to school or practice the normal life. Or I should speak about the fashion. A city in 1 week, 7,000 civilians, 7,000 human beings being killed. In Saudi hospital, a video I watched, the soldiers were injured in the hospital, killing everyone in the hospital. Doctor, staff, patient, co-patient, everyone. And I was asking myself, aren't we human beings? Aren't we deserve to live in a normal life? Or is it okay to see that people being killed like this? But I know this is what the news been showing everyone. I'm not sure, or maybe the few reported that some of you saw, or maybe sometimes no one see, or no one know, or maybe no one care, maybe because we are coming from different cities, I don't know why. But I'm not here to repeat those reports. I'm here to speak about the resilience of Sudanese people. We go and we went through everything. Even I was sometimes I talk to my friend that if there is a checklist of disadvantages in life, I probably got full mark and every student got full mark. But despite everything, despite the loss, despite the pain, despite everything, we are here. We stand, we continue, we fight, and we'll fight for our right. I'm supposed to have a photo in the screen, but I will try to describe it. Maybe you can imagine with me. It was a photo I received from my friend. It was a dark room, and there was 4 medical books, and there was a tiny flashlight in the room. She was telling me, she's my friend from university, I'm still at university. She was telling me that after she been displaced 4 times from Khartoum to Sinnar to Medellin to Akbara, and now she's in Kosi, preparing for her final exam in a refugee camp. There is no electricity, there is nothing. She left everything back home, but she didn't leave her faith, her hope. And she told me, despite the room was dark, there was a tiny flashlight from her phone. This is her hope and her wishing and her faith. And this is how the Sudanese, despite the darker life we are going through it, there is still light and we still hope for a better future for Sudan, for Ukraine, for Canada, for Palestine, for Syria, for Yemen, for Iraq, for Lebanon, for Somalia, for Yemen, for all the countries. Before
No, okay. Gracias. Thank you. We would like to invite Tariq Mustafa, Director of the Qatar Humanitarian Association, a Palestinian from Gaza who lost 77 members of his family, including his father, mother, brothers and sisters, and Sarah, who is a Palestinian and Iraqi eco-feminist representing the Youth Coalition for Sexual and Reproductive Rights,
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لم آتي اليوم لأحدثكم عن استشهاد عائلتي ولا عن الصواريخ التي بخرت جسد شقيقتي إلهام ولا عن جسد أمي الذي جمعناه نصفين. لم آتي لأروي الألم بل لأحمل الأمانة. السيدات والسادة، ممثلي المجتمع المدني حول العالم، نقف اليوم في منصة تتحدث عن العدالة المناخية، لكننا في الحقيقة نتحدث عن عدالة الإنسان عن الشعوب التي تدفع ثمنا باهظا في الحروب ولتغيير المناخ ولغياب الإنصاف الدولي. حين نتحدث عن العدالة المناخية لا يمكن أن نتجاهل غزة. غزة اليوم ليست فقط قضية سياسية أو إنسانية، بل هي واحدة من أهم أوضح الأمثلة العالمية على الظلم المناخي. البنية التحتية دمرت، مصادر المياه تلوثت أو جفت، الأراضي الزراعية أحرقت، الهواء ملوث والبحر ملوث، وحتى التراب صار يحمل آثار القصف والمواد السامة. إن غزة تواجه كارثة بيئية مركبة، حصار، انهيار، حرب، وانهيار مناخي وبنية تحتية معا. الدعم الذي تحصل عليه غزة وما تحتاجه حقا، نحن نقدر كل جهد دولي يقدم، لكن الحقيقة أن حجم الاحتياج أعمق بكثير مما يصل اليوم. غزة تحتاج ماء نقيا قبل أي شيء، تحتاج إلى منظمات ومنظومات صرف صحي حتى لا تنتشر الأوبئة، تحتاج إلى إزالة ملايين الأطنان من الركام السام الناتج عن القصف، تحتاج حلولا مناخية عاجلة، الطاقة الشمسية، محطات تحلية صغيرة، إعادة تدوير المياه، ودعم المجتمعات المحلية لتستعيد حياتها. أما عن دور الأمم المتحدة، نطالب الأمم المتحدة أن تكون أكثر من ناقل لتقارير، نريدها شريكا فعليا في الضغط لفتح ممرات إنسانية آمنة، دعم مشاريع المياه بشكل سريع وفعال، التخلص من الركام الملوث بالمعادن الثقيلة والمتفجرات، تمويل مشاريع الطاقة المتجددة الصغيرة داخل الأحياء. الحديث عن المناخ يصبح شكلا من أشكال الترف عندما يجد الناس أو لا يجد الناس ماء يشربونه ولا بيتا ينامون فيه. ختاما أقول غزة اليوم ليست مجرد جغرافيا تحت القصف، هي اختبار عالمي للعدالة. هل تطبق فقط على الأقوياء أم تشمل الشعوب التي تحرم من الماء والهواء النظيف والآمن؟ نحن هنا لكي لا تكون العدالة المناخية شعارا بل مشروعا ينقذ الأرواح ويعيد للإنسان كرامته. شكرا لكم.
My name is Zahra Al-Hilali, a Palestinian and Iraqi eco-feminist who has seen genocide impact my family twice during Israel's genocide against Palestine and the US-led invasion against Iraq. I will be translating on behalf of my brother, Tariq Mustafa, Director of Qatar Humanitarian Association, a Palestinian from Gaza who lost 77 members of his family, including his father, representatives of civil society from around the world. We stand today on a platform that speaks about climate justice, but in truth, we are speaking about human justice, about communities who pay a double price of war for climate change and for the absence of international equity. When we speak about climate change, we cannot ignore Gaza. Gaza is not a political or humanitarian issue. It is one of the clearest global examples of climate injustice from the infrastructure that it has destroyed. Water sources are polluted or dried up. Farmland has been burnt. The air is contaminated. The sea is contaminated. And even the soil carries the toxins of bombardment. Gaza is facing a layered environmental catastrophe. War, blockade, climate breakdown, and the collapse of vital systems all at once. If militarism was a country, it would be the fourth largest emitter on Earth. And yet, it remains untouchable, protected by the same powers that profit from both fossil fuels and warfare. Let us be honest, the world spends $2.7 trillion a year on war, while climate finance struggles to even reach a tenth of that. The same states that cry net zero are dropping white phosphorus on our people. The same institutions that preach resilience are funding arms that kill our people. We cannot greenwash genocide. We cannot bomb our way to a livable planet. We cannot fund occupation and call it security. The support Gaza receives and what it truly needs is that we appreciate every international effort. But the truth is that the scale of need is far deeper than what it reaches today. Gaza needs clean water before anything else. It needs functional sewage systems to prevent epidemics. It needs the removal of millions of tons of toxic rubble left by the bombardment of our dead family members. It needs urgent climate solutions, solar energy, water recycling systems, and support to rebuild local life. So today, our message is not polite to the United Nations. It is urgent. Number one, name it. Count military emissions in every national inventory and climate targets. End the immunity of armies from climate accountability. Number two, defund it. Redirect even a fraction of global military spending across climate finance, loss and damage, and community-led adaptation. Number three, disarm the fossil age. Support the fossil fuel non-proliferation treaty and end the toxic alliance between fossil fuels, warfare, and colonial control. And number four, protect those who protect life. From Gaza to Juba to Bukavu, land and water defenders are risking everything, while governments trade weapons for silence. Gaza today is not a geography under bombardment. It is a global test for justice. Its justice is reserved only for the most powerful, or does it include communities deprived of clean water, clean air, and safety? This is not a climate emergency. It is a peace emergency. Because until we dismantle the systems that profit from our death, there will be no justice for the living and no freedom for the earth
what we have up front is the name of Palestinians murdered and martyred in Gaza. These are the thousands we know and the thousands that are buried under the rubble in Gaza. We would like everyone to stand up and take a minute of silence.
We can now invite you all to seats. Thank you.
That moment of silence was for Palestine, for Sudan, and Congo. We want to reaffirm that this is no coincidence. The fact that we are all here right now, it's not a coincidence. It's the fruit and labor and struggle of many that came before us, and many that laid their own life for us to assume our historical responsibility coming from that strong legacy. The fact that we are inside the COP space using the spaces of official UN states and government, but with organized civil society, is a huge step forward in the process for climate justice and liberation. The fact that we can have people from Palestine, from Puerto Rico, and other non-recognized nations be speaking on behalf of their people is a strong also path forward. We've had to struggle a lot to be here, and we also want to go now into a moment to give special attention to what happened during the People's Summit, and I would like to see how many of you were in the People's Summit last week in the show of raising your hand, please. So the People's Summit is an autonomous space where we work with social movements and international organizations to make sure that we were addressing our own solutions and our challenges, and product of that convergence, where we had more than 17,000 people march on the streets of Belém, we did a collective declaration that we would like to share the highlights now. So I would like to present my comrade Kirtana Chandrasekaran from India and from Friends of the Earth International to come to the podium, please.
Hi, comrades and friends. I'm Kirtana Chandrasekaran, and I'm here on behalf of the Political Commission of the People's Summit process to present our declaration to you. We built the People's Summit over 2 years as an autonomous space from governments, from the official COP processes, and with no link to transnational corporations, to foster a process of convergence among social movements, to share our long-term analysis and build a common political agenda beyond this Conference of the Parties. So I present to you excerpts from our declaration of the People's Summit. We, the People's Summit, gather in Belém do Pará, in the Brazilian Amazon, from the 12th to 16th November 2025, declare to the peoples of the world what we have accumulated in struggles, debates, studies, exchanges of experience over several months of preparation and during these days gathered here. Our process brought together more than 70,000 people who make up local, national and international movements of indigenous and traditional peoples, peasants, quilombolas, fisher people, extractivistas, shellfish, gatherers, urban workers, trade unionists, homeless people, Babasab coconut breakers, Guerrero people, women, the LGBTQIAPN community, young people, Afro-descendants, the elderly, peoples from the forest, from the countryside, the peripheries, the seas, rivers, lakes, and mangroves. We were unity in diversity. We are here to say that the advance of the extreme right, fascism, and wars around the world exacerbates the climate crisis and the exploitation of nature and peoples. The countries of the global north, transnational cooperation, and the ruling classes bear the main responsibility for these crises. We salute the resistance and stand in solidarity with all those who have been cruelly attacked and threatened by the forces of empire and their allies. We offer our support and solidarity to all those people who bravely resist. And the resistance of people under imperialist and resource-grabbing attacks in Venezuela, Cuba, Haiti, Ecuador, Panama, El Salvador, Colombia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Mozambique, Nigeria, Sudan, Palestine, and we are in solidarity with the popular projects of the people of Sahel, Nepal, and all around the world. There is no life without nature. There is no life without the ethics and work of care. That's why feminism is central to our political project. We place the work of reproducing life at the center, which is what radically differentiates us from those who want to preserve the logic and dynamics of an economic system that prioritizes profit and the private accumulation of wealth. Our worldview is guided by popular internationalism, and we are committed to stimulating, convening, and strengthening this process. We began our People Summit by navigating the rivers of the Amazon. Like blood, they sustain life and feed a sea of encounters and hopes. After more than 2 years of collective construction, we affirm that the capitalist mode of production is the main cause of the growing climate crisis. The main environmental problems of our time are a consequence of the relations of production, circulation, and disposal of goods under the logic and domination of financial capital and corporations. Peripheral communities are the most affected by extreme weather events and environmental racism. They face a lack of infrastructure and adaptation policies, and on the other hand, a lack of justice and reparations. Transnational cooperation, in collusion with the governments of the North, are the center of power in the capitalist, racist, and patriarchal system. Fossil fuel, mining, energy, arms, agribusiness, and the big tech industries are primarily responsible for the climate catastrophe we are experiencing. We affirm that we oppose any false solutions to the climate crisis, including in climate finance, that perpetuate harmful practices, create risks, and divert attention from the transformative solutions based in the justice of peoples in all our biomes and ecosystems. We affirm that the failure of the current model of multilateralism is evident. There are countless global conferences and meetings that promise to solve these problems, but never have addressed their structural causes. We affirm that the energy transition is being implemented under capitalist logic. Despite the expansion of renewables, there has been no reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. The expansion of energy production sources has become a new space for capital accumulation. Finally, we affirm that the privatization, commodification, and financialization of common goods and public services are directly contrary to the interests of the people. State and institutions and the vast majority of governments have been captured, shaped, and subordinated in the pursuit of maximum profit by finance capital and transnational corporations. We need public policies to advance the recovery of states and tackle privatization. Friends, we were together in the thousands in our last week in Belém do Pará, but we represented millions. So we say, peoples of the world, unite!
Comrades and colleagues and friends, I have the honor of leading our first collective chant this afternoon, and you know how limited the space we have. So I'd like to invite everybody to use their voice and stand together in honor of the lives and brothers and sisters that we've lost, in honor of our shared victories and our continued struggles. I invite you to repeat this chant 3 times with me. The people united will never be defeated. 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 Thank you.
Indeed, people united will never be defeated. We'll now transition to the second session of the People's Plenary, and now we'll be hearing statements from the constituencies. These constituencies, as one of the representatives of the constituencies, the women and gender constituency, these constituencies, the constituencies, especially the rights-based constituency, they are not just collection of organizations for convenience of engaging in the UNFPC. But over the years, these constituencies have proved to be a collection of vision. They have proved to be a collection of movement. The movement in which in this role we have shaped decisions, we have changed processes, and we are in the cause to make sure to change the very fabric of the UNFPC and how UNFPC organizes itself. Allow me now to introduce my colleagues and comrades from different constituencies to deliver their statements. And to begin, we would now like to invite indigenous people to deliver their statements. We are welcome that you have 2 minutes.
Boa tarde a todos e a todas. Cadê o povo indígena do Brasil? Agradecer nesse momento a oportunidade de poder falar nossa voz dos povos indígenas e do mundo. Estou falando aqui em nome dos povos indígenas, que reúne representantes da África, da Ásia, do Caribe, América do Norte, Pacífico, Índico, Rússia e Leste Europeu. Mas também quero falar aqui, em nome das plantas, dos animais, das montanhas, da água e da floresta. A COP30 está sendo realizado no nosso país, no nosso território, na nossa casa, mas nós estamos sendo excluídos da mesa de negociação. Nós somos citados, mencionados e damos discurso, mas nós continuamos sendo desrespeitados no nosso ensinamento. O mundo precisa parar e ouvir a voz dos povos indígenas. O mundo precisa parar e ouvir a voz dos povos indígenas. Nós trazemos aqui a nossa preocupação com a mudança climática. Para conter a mudança climática, nós precisamos acabar com o combustível fóssil. Nós precisamos parar de fazer desmatamento. Nós E com os povos indígenas não haverá mais vida nesse planeta. Viva os povos indígenas!
Boa tarde, companheirada. Vou falar de perto porque eu sou muito pequenina, mas eu quero começar agradecer a todos vocês que estão aqui, que estão nos assistindo. Sempre fala aqui uma mulher amazônica, sindicalista, uma mulher que vem falar da necessidade de se cuidar do planeta e de cuidar das pessoas. Porque aqui na Amazônia brasileira e aqui no planeta tem muita gente precisando de cuidado, assim como a terra precisa de cuidado. E é preciso, mais do que nunca, que se amplie o mecanismo de ação da lei, que é o programa de trabalho da transição justa. Nós precisamos dessa ampliação, dessa implementação, que radicalizemos esse programa, como a gente precisa radicalizar a democracia. Nós não iremos a lugar nenhum sem democracia. Não teremos nenhum tipo de transição enquanto o fascismo e a extrema-direita estiverem rondando as nossas populações, os nossos sindicatos. Quero dizer mais, companheirada querida, nós precisamos fortalecer as organizações de luta, os sindicatos, as ONGs, as associações, os que lutam pelos quilombolas, pelos povos originários, pelos povos indígenas, pelas mulheres que estão na base da pirâmide, cuidando da vida, cuidando do planeta, cuidando das pessoas. Então, eu quero dizer que eu estou muito emocionada, muito honrada, e eu quero finalizar dizendo: nós precisamos proteger as lideranças sindicais, as lideranças ambientais, os guardiões da terra, dos direitos das populações, porque aqueles que sujam nossos rios, derrubam nossas florestas, são os mesmos que exterminam a liderança e exterminam o direito social, o direito dos povos, o nosso direito de ser feliz. Então, um abraço para a resistência, um abraço para as mulheres, os homens, as crianças que lutam todos os dias e merecem ter seu direito garantido e respeitado.
Thank you for congrats from Chuno, representing the movement. Our movement is being led by your leadership and your contribution. Allow me now to invite our colleague and comrade Maria Reyes, representing the youth. Since the start of COP30, we have walked into this venue flanked by military bands and large weapons as if demanding life and justice was a crime. Every day, we have seen the hypocrisy of the posters declaring from every inch of this city that this COP was supposed to be the COP of the people. But which people? The polluters? The genociders? The occupiers? This is
siege, the starvation, and the genocide, forbidding us from naming the killers of our friends and comrades, stripping away our right to protest, and cornering us against this so-called red zone. We want to acknowledge those who are not here, including our comrades from Balochistan, on occupied territory. On their behalf, we want to call for the release of Dr. Balam Baloch, Mahmoud Baloch, Firoz Baloch, Hussein Baloch, and many other indigenous Baloch environmental defenders who have been imprisoned for over 7 months after peacefully protesting against the Baloch genocide. And they are not the only ones missing. Environmental defenders and youth from all over the world fight tooth and nail to get a handful of people here. And yet, we are asked to accept that only 25 people present is the fourth of your lowest. We are asked to accept that global north countries turn on their pockets lying with stolen colonial plunder and claim that they cannot pay for the loss and destruction they created. There is enough money in the world for a people's solidarity economy, but instead they will invest in greenwash militarization. We are asked to accept predatory carbon markets, net swaps, geoengineering, sea mining, and mega projects shaped as climate solutions and forced to trade our dreams and hopes for a future that will at worst be burned and at best blood-soaked. We do not accept this. Phasing out of fossil fuels cannot be weaponized as an excuse to advance false solutions and militarization. A world without all forms of extractivism is possible if we center justice, decolonization, and reparation under technical emission codes. Free Balochistan, free Western Sahara, free West Papua, free Canada, free Palestine.
And thank you for your powerful statement. In quoting from your statement on the colonial legacies, if there is a group that has been leading and being in the front line of dealing and battling colonial legacy, and the peasants and the small farmers of this world, allow me to invite our comrades, the Pramesh from Bolivia and Campesina.
Dear comrades, greetings to all on behalf of the anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist, anti-patriarchal, anti-colonial, the global movement of the small-scale food producer, Lavi and Campesina. We are here to expose how corporations expand carbon markets, new debts, and many other false solutions. We are here to demand reparations. We are saying unconditional grants, no loans. We know that industrial, neoliberal, and corporate agriculture is responsible for more than 44% of the emissions. That's why this system is the root cause of crisis. We are saying system change, not climate change. We resist this exploitative and extractive system. We propose agroecology and food security as the foundation of agri-food transformation. We reject all false solutions. We say no to green colonialism, no to fossil capitalism, no to climate smart agriculture, no TEF, no carbon trading, no geoengineering. We denounce agribusiness, capturing and greenwashing the coke. We commit to transform and build and for the just transition. We reject land and resource grabbing by corporation again in the name of energy transition. We think that beyond the United Nations Declaration on Peace and Rights will help us to achieve our goal. Land and our rights will allow us to continue to rule the planet. Agroecology is the answer. People-led agrarian reform is urgent. International solidarity is how we will win. We know that we will win. That's why we were here at the People's Summit, and People's Summit has demonstrated that we are building movement, we are building international solidarity. Globalize the struggle, globalize the hope. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our comrades from Via Campesina asked us to say no greenwashing. Can I hear you say no greenwashing? Thank you so much. It is an absolute privilege to chair this meeting today and having our colleagues from Disability Caucus. It's the first time they are joining us, and allow me to invite comrades Manal to speak to us.
Thank you so much. My name is Nalangar. I'm an autistic and neurodivergent two-climate activist speaking on behalf of the Disability Caucus. I stand here with hundreds of us with visible and invisible disabilities who come to COP every year because persons with disabilities are amongst the communities most affected by climate change. And today I want to speak about 3 failures that have defined our experiences so far in this COP. First, we still do not have a constituency status. And without the status, we are denied the visibility, the legitimacy, and the recognition that we deserve. And while we struggle to get our voices heard, there's 1,600 fossil fuel lobbyists walking here in this venue freely. Second, after 30 years, COPs are still inaccessible. There are no quiet rooms, no rest areas, no tactile paving, no clear signage, no shuttle vehicles to help people move across extremely long distances. Blind and low vision participants cannot navigate independently. People with mobility needs struggle with uneven pathways, excessive queuing, and the absence of priority seating areas. And the recent militarization of this venue has only made it worse, especially for those of us with sensory issues, those of us who come from conflict zones, those of us with mobility issues, and so on. There is money for militarization and security of this venue, but no money for our accessibility needs. Yesterday's fire made it also very painfully clear. People with disabilities struggled to evacuate safely. And this is not an isolated incident, because think about our communities that we come from. When a fire happens, when a wildfire happens, when flood happens, when climate disaster happens, we are left behind. But we refuse this. We refuse to be left behind. We must be consulted to make this COP more accessible. Third, disability language must be included in the negotiation text. Because when negotiators remove disability language, they erase the realities and needs of more than 1 billion people. They erase our right to adaptation, our right to protection, our rights to participation, and our rights to also a climate-resilient future. A people's COP must include all people, including people with disabilities. Nothing about us without us.
Thank you so much, Manale. Thank you for your leadership and the leadership of Congress to persevere and getting through the process. We do strongly believe that very soon disability will be formalized in the form of Congress, and all the colleagues and comrades here are in full support of that process. So now allow me to invite Lady, a comrade and colleague soon as needed an introduction. Lady.
reconstructing not only the territories, but the imaginaries. But we're here, standing strong from the region that cries, El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. From the region that sees the mind grows and sees how generation after generation, these lands are going to be protected for self-determination and sovereignty. We are a region that sees through the history in the liberation out of slavery from Haiti to the liberation fight in Palestine. We recognize in the fights that our siblings in Congo are going to break the chains of that corporate green transition that is only enslaving bodies and children in this moment. We are in Latin America and the Caribbean, a region that is not giving up, a region that is saying enough is enough, a region that is calling for sovereignty, a region that knows the power that we hold in the South, and that is in this moment standing strong against US, against the imperialist regime, and we need to unite in this power to say no more. We are not going to be seen through the eyes of white supremacy. We are not going to be defined through the vocabulary, the language of white supremacy. We have our languages, we have our cosmovisions, we have our flavors, we have our movements, and that's the rules of the game now.
Thank you so much, Gina, on behalf of the Women in Gina constituency. Allow me now to welcome again our colleagues from People's Summit to share some top-line messages that are coming from the summit, from the land of the Latin America to the very same people we have hosted here in the land of the land. So kindly share with us what the key messages.
Depois de mais de 2 anos de construção coletiva e de realizar a cúpula dos povos, afirmamos: o modo de produção capitalista é a causa principal da crise climática crescente. As comunidades periféricas são as mais afetadas pelos eventos climáticos extremos e o racismo ambiental. As empresas transnacionais, em cumplicidades com governos do norte global, estão no centro de poder do sistema capitalista, racista e patriarcal. Frente a esses desafios, propomos o enfrentamento às falsas soluções de mercado. O ar, as florestas, as águas, as terras, os minérios e as fontes de energia não podem permanecer como propriedade privada, nem serem apropriados porque são bens comuns dos povos. Cobramos que haja participação e protagonismo dos povos na construção de soluções climáticas, reconhecendo os saberes ancestrais. Exigimos a demarcação e proteção das terras e territórios indígenas e de outros povos e comunidades locais. Reivindicamos a concretização da reforma agrária popular e o fomento à agroecologia para garantia da soberania alimentar e combate à concentração fundiária. É evidente o fracasso do atual modelo de multilateralismo. São cada vez mais recorrentes os crimes ambientais dos eventos climáticos extremos que ocasionam mortes e destruição. Isso demonstra o fracasso das inúmeras conferências e reuniões mundiais que prometeram resolver esses problemas, mas nunca enfrentaram as suas causas estruturais. A transição energética está sendo implementada sob a lógica capitalista. A expansão das fontes de produção energética acabou por se configurar também como um novo espaço de acumulação de capital. Exigimos o fim das guerras e a desmilitarização. que todos os recursos financeiros destinados às guerras e à indústria bélica sejam revertidos para a transformação desse mundo. Exigimos a justa e plena reparação das perdas e danos impostos aos povos pelos projetos de investimento destrutivos, pelas barragens, pela mineração, extração de combustíveis fósseis e desastres climáticos. Os trabalhos de reprodução da vida devem ser visibilizados, valorizados, compreendidos como que são, trabalho, e compartilhados no conjunto da sociedade como Estado. Demandamos uma transição justa, soberana e popular, que garanta os direitos de todos os trabalhadores e trabalhadoras. Exigimos o fim da exploração de combustíveis fósseis. Lutamos pelo financiamento público e taxação das corporações e dos mais ricos. Denunciamos a contínua criminalização dos movimentos, a perseguição, o assassinato e desaparecimento de nossas lideranças que lutam em defesa de seus territórios, bem como os presos políticos e presos palestinos que lutam por libertação nacional. Reivindicamos o fortalecimento de instrumentos internacionais que defendam os direitos dos povos, seus direitos constitucionais e a integridade dos ecossistemas. Por fim, consideramos que é tempo de unificar as nossas lutas e enfrentar o inimigo comum. Se a organização é forte, a luta é forte. Por essa razão, a nossa tarefa política principal é o trabalho de organização dos povos em todos os países e continentes. Vamos enraizar nosso internacionalismo em cada território e fazer de cada território uma trincheira da luta internacional. É tempo de avançar de modo mais organizado, independente e unificado, para aumentar a nossa consciência, força e combatividade. Este é o caminho para resistir e vencer. Povos do mundo, unidos!
So, we're closing out this People's Plenary, and we want to remind everybody that the false solutions that are being negotiated here are an expression of an economic model that extracts from Mother Nature as if there were no limits and exploits every form of life. That is a capitalist, imperialistic, and colonial system. And we know that the path forward requires these kinds of spaces, requires organization, requires civil society participation, requires strategy, requires unity and internationalism. So please, let's continue that path forward across the globe. And we're going to end by hearing and participating with songs of resistance that come from our indigenous comrades from Brazil and from all over the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, please follow the instruction of the steward to exit the room safely. Follow the instruction of the steward. Thank you.